I gotta say, even though I don't really play my IceJin character Najax, and yes, I am gonna be calling them IceJins for the duration of any videos I make with them, just because it sounds cool. Well, either IceJin or FrostJin, better than just constantly calling it Frieza's race. I mean, might as well just give it some kind of official name. Come on, Toriyama. Anyways, as far as with IceJins, well, I can't speak for everyone, but for me, their combo structure, in a way, it's kind of straightforward. At least the basic combos, your basic all light and all heavy combos. But as far as the kind of combos that involves between mixing your light and heavy attacks, that for me is where it gets kind of complicated. Not to mention all the multi-hitting attacks they do, plus their movement, the way they move when they fight, because they're the only race that has a tail, and they fight with their tail. Like, I know Saiyans have their little monkey tails, but those are just accessories. They don't count. So that also kind of throws me off a bit when doing their combos and watching the way they move. And so far, I've only discovered one stamina break combo. And for these videos, I'll be referring to them as heavy, not heavy, knockdown breaks or stun breaks. Stun breaks being forward light, and knockdown breaks being forward heavy, which is pretty straightforward. The stun breaks, the forward lights, are the ones that will stun your opponent long enough to continue the combo afterwards. The knockdown breaks, the forward heavy, knocks them down, which is good when you're trying to set up a certain ultimate or even certain super attacks that have a lot of startup to them, or if you just want to knock your opponent away after breaking their stamina, so that maybe if you're teaming up with someone, they can do whatever it is they got planned, or to have enough time to charge up your ki, or even turn golden. So one of the cooler things, dang it, one of the cooler things about the Frieza race, dang it, about the IceJins, come on now. One of the cooler things about the IceJins is, I would say they're one of, if not the fastest by default. And I really don't know about how fast their combat speed is as far as their melee attacks, but definitely their overall movement speed is pretty quick compared to male Majins and Namekians, who are pretty sluggish. Female Saiyans and female Earthlings are pretty quick, but not as quick as IceJins, with male Earthlings and Saiyans definitely being the ones who are in the middle. And what's cool about the IceJins is that this is just how fast they are by default, but it's also how fast they are when you have them turn golden. So definitely you can see he's moving around even faster. Not to mention, turning golden is the one of, if not, no, in my opinion, it is the coolest transformation, because it takes the way their body looks and gives it a more metallic sort of look. Almost if like a sort of version of Metal Cooler, but gold and black and purple, instead of that sort of silverish blue sort of look. Not to mention, what's unfortunate about the IceJin's unique transformation turning golden is that it doesn't boost their physical attacks. It's definitely not for increasing melee attacks. It changes how their ki blasts are done. So you get your basic ki blast. Ki blast! I cannot talk right now. Oh, wouldn't I get that? That's a new ki charge if I ever seen one. Then there's the ki blast they get when they turn golden. So it doesn't matter like what kind of super soul you have, because your super soul definitely affects your charged ki blast. But once you turn golden, it doesn't matter what super soul you have. It's all the same. And unfortunately, chaining all the basic ki blasts when you mash the button, getting them all to connect, it's annoying. because it kind of moves them out the way and the rest of the shots just miss. But if your opponent's constantly blocking, and especially if you're double teaming them, you got someone else attacking or assisting, they're constantly doing this at any distance. It's just so, it could just be so annoying. You just straight up harass your opponent with this. Really make it difficult for them to get in on you. And when you charge it, you get a death beam. So even if you don't have death beam as part of your regular move set, you still have it when you charge the key button. But when you're playing on controller like I am, trying to hold down the key button while doing combos does feel weird. Of course, I'm playing this on the PlayStation 4. I don't know how it would feel trying to do so on the Xbox. Although I wonder if people do play this game on an arcade stick. I gotta see that for myself. Anyways, so on with their combo structure. And again, turning golden doesn't do anything for the melee damage. It's purely just for their overall speed and their key attacks. So if you're more about moving around, moving fast, getting in on your opponent quickly, or even getting away from them quickly, and harassing them with basic and strong key blasts, and even your key blast supers and ultimates, it's very good. So far, this is the only combo with an IceJin that I discovered. And like I said, it's a stun break. I don't know any combos as far as going into their knockdown breaks. So it's pretty lengthy, unfortunately. But one of the coolest things about the IceJins combos is that it definitely has a lot of variety to it. Different combo routes. Well, all races have different combo routes. But again, as far as variety, where it's not just a different combo that leads into the same chain as usual, I believe the IceJins may have the most overall variety, just the most overall different type of strikes that they do. Although that one right there is the weirdest one, that ends with them doing a forward headbutt after about 2 or 3 hits, or even 1, or it's 2 or 3 light attacks into heavy and heavy again right afterwards. So trying to figure out how to do combos in this game, well, that's the unfortunate thing. When you're creating a character class, when you learn how to do combos with one class, well, it's just that class, that very first class you create, or whichever one you decide to master, that you do combos with. Some people be all like, what character should I create so I can get started on this game? And yeah, some characters excel more some things than others. And I'd say definitely the easiest and most straightforward characters to learn to do combos with are the Earthlings. But even then, by the time you master doing combos with them, then it's just them you learn how to do combos with. IceJins and Namekians, every race plays very differently. And I believe definitely that the IceJins are the most specifically built towards Key Blast. Which again makes sense because especially their unique transformation Golden, which does not do anything for their melee attacks. And I'm not to mention this long combo into a stamina break, whereas other races have some of them, they have multiple, at least 1 or 2 combos into a stamina break, into a stun break, and it's usually about maybe 5, maybe 6 buttons, but definitely not as many as the IceJins. It's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So 6 light attacks into 1 heavy attack into forward light. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 lights into that 1 heavy. And basically what makes it easier for me to remember is not just counting how many lights or heavies I do in the combo, or how many hits I do overall, or many buttons I press, because IceJins have a lot of multi-hitting combos off of 1 button. Is remembering that the last light attack that I do before pressing a heavy attack is the double kick that the IceJin does, looking like this. Actually, I think that was their tail that they hit them with. But anyways, it starts with a kick, and it's a two-hit attack. Into the multi-hitting heavy, which is about 6 hits on its own. Into the stamina break. Heavy, forward light. Ah, dang, I messed up. Alright, let's try that again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And even the Mechians have it a bit easier where they have one short. I've only discovered one combo with them, but it's a very short and easy to remember combo. But I'll cover that in another video if I ever feel like getting to it. So I'm not going to really go too in-depth with stuff like this. This is really more covering the basics and giving my personal opinion on the different races in the game. And the kind of cool things that they have, the annoying things that they have that makes them somewhat difficult on their own and difficult compared to others. So IceJins, they have a lot of variety to their combos, but unfortunately that means that's a lot of stuff you got to remember as far as the different combo routes. Their golden transformation, while it increases their already impressive speed, it doesn't do anything for their melee damage, but it does increase their key attack. So if you have an IceJin who's built around key attacks, especially if there's something built around zoning, then it's very good for turning golden, or just playing an IceJin in general is good for that, for the zoning type. And not really much else to say, because no race feels complicated to the point where it's impossible to play them. It's just that if you have a certain mindset or a certain play style in mind, then that's definitely going to really affect how you play, either in general or with each character. But with the IceJins, I had a lot of difficulty learning their combo structure at first, because in the beginning I just kept mostly mashing with them, whereas every other race, not only was it easier for me to learn how to do combos with them, but it was also easy to learn stamina breaks. So IceJins, I have a tendency to just pick a specific set of combos I like doing, especially if I'm playing around zoning. Like if I'm playing around zoning using key attacks, then that's less combos I would bother trying to learn. But more for rushdown, again, just the sheer amount of variety, the amount of hits you gotta remember, and a bit of timing too. Although as far as learning timing in combos, it's not as bad as say like male Earthlings or even female Majins. But overall, it could just feel weird. So that's really all I have to say for the most part. So therefore, in my opinion, I would say as far as the learning curve with IceJins, yeah, I'd put them at the top of the group as far as having the highest learning curve, as far as what they do on their own, what they do with their transformation. So not exactly bad to the point where they're impossible to learn, but it's gonna feel definitely less straightforward, a bit awkward compared to the other character classes. And I'll be carrying I cannot speak for some reason sometimes. I'll be covering the other races except for the male Majins, because I just don't like the male Majins in this game. Maybe if there's a Xenoverse 3 and they change the male Majins combo structure, I'll probably go over it. Good luck with that. So thanks for anyone who tuned in, and I'll talk to y'all on the next video. Have a great day.